we're going to review absolute value, which is also a skill that you learned in 6th grade. Absolute value means the distance from 0. And distance is always, 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 always positive. When you see absolute value bars, just like these, the question is asking how many spaces away from 0 is the number inside the bars. So the absolute value of -6, we're going to start where the -6 is, and we're going to count the number of spaces to 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So your answer is +6 because distance is positive. Okay, 1/2. So 1/2 would be between 0 and 1. So 1/2 is just half a space from 0. So you always want to read wherever the bars are first. So this says the absolute value of 8. So we're going to go to 8 and then count how many spaces from 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the last one, -3.5. So -3.5 or -3.5 is going to be in between -3 and -4. So there's half a jump. So 1, 2, 3, so 1, 3.5. So now we're going to come down to the examples. So the absolute value of -8 is just going to be +8. The absolute value of 19.2 is just 19.2. The square root of 49 we know is 7, so the absolute value of 7 is just 7 spaces from 0. And then here we have -3/4, so that's going to be +3/4. The absolute value of 3 or -3.2 is +3.2. The square root of 121 is 11. So the absolute value of 11 is 11. The absolute value of -1/5 is just going to be +1/5. The absolute value of -4.9 is just going to be +4.9. The absolute value of 5 is just going to be +5. The absolute value of 2/3 is just going to be 2/3. The only time that your answer is going to be negative is if there is a negative outside of the bars. So in this one, the negative is on the outside, so your answer is automatically negative. So the opposite of the absolute value of 2.1 is -2.1. There's a negative on the outside, so your answer is automatically negative, so -7.45. There's a negative on the outside, so your answer is automatically negative, and then 0.125. The answer, or there's a negative on the outside, so your answer is automatically negative, and then just 10. So here's some practical problems where we're going to use absolute value. In Anchorage, Alaska, the morning temperature was 20 degrees below 0. Okay, so we know that's -20. And then by late afternoon, the temperature was 17 degrees. So we did get above 0, so +17. What's the difference in those two temperatures? I like to think about those as a number line. -20 goes below 0. We're going to have 0 here, and then +17 goes above 0. From -20 to 0, that's 20 spaces that you would have to count up. And then from 0 to 17, that's 17 more spaces. So the total difference or distance between those two numbers is 20 plus 17, or 37. And we could think about this as 17 degrees minus -20, which I always taught my kids, minus a negative, circle plus plus. So 20 plus 17 is 37. Second problem, the highest temperature ever recorded on Lake Anna was 104 degrees. The lowest temperature was -12 degrees. What's the difference in the temperatures? So we're going to do the same thing and draw a number line. Put 0, 104 is above 0. Negative 12 goes below. So from negative 12 to 0, that would be 12 spaces. 0 to 104 would be 104 spaces. So we need that total distance between the two. So from negative 12 all the way up to 104. So we're really just adding those two numbers together. So that's going to be 116. So 104 plus 12. So that's 116-degree difference between the two. Again, go back and rewatch any parts of the video that you need to. Make sure that you've got it all written down, and reach out to your teacher if you have questions.